I'm Maxine Chung from CDN Computer Dealer News, and welcome to our special video series, Women in IT, where we're profiling select female executives in the IT channel. With me here today is Colleen Browne, the Director of North American Sales for ViewSonic. Colleen, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Maxine.
So, Colleen, how did you start your career in IT, and what was your first job?
My first job in IT was with Epson. I started in the marketing department, specifically in the marketing communications department, and 3.5 years to 4 years later, I went to Lexmark and then spent a wonderful 5 years there and moved on to ViewSonic, where I presently sit.
So, great. Did you always aspire to work in this field?
I thought that my career would take me into the advertising world, actually. My degree was in business, and my specialty, if you will, was marketing, and I had a love for advertising. And when the opportunity came, I actually schooled in the Maritimes. When the opportunity came for me to move to Ontario, I was fortunate to have a couple of opportunities, job opportunities, both very different. One was in the IT sector, but in the marketing department, which would allow me to continue my advertising endeavors, if you will, and PR and all those good things. And the other was actually in the music industry. And Epson at the time was, you know, a well-established name, and I thought that it would be a good path for a career down the road, so that's how I ended up with Epson.
So, Colleen, what was your first position at ViewSonic, and how did you make the move up to the North American Director?
I progressed in my career as I moved from Epson to Lexmark to ViewSonic, and I think most of the people who have been in the IT industry for quite some time know that it really is a small circle of the same people. We all know a lot of each other, and it turned out that a gentleman that I knew and worked at Epson actually was working at ViewSonic, and he and I had had some discussions, and I was in a transition, having spent 5 years on the senior management team at Lexmark and having done a lot of the marketing communications there. Thought that the opportunity of ViewSonic posed some very interesting challenges for me. When I moved over to ViewSonic, it was really to manage the marketing department, set up a marketing department, both on the product marketing side and on the marketing communications side. Shortly thereafter, the person to whom I reported was transferred to the US, and I assumed his position pretty quickly, which was then the general manager of Canada. And that's how you know, my career sort of escalated at ViewSonic. I have been with ViewSonic almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in May. And about 14 months ago, accepted the role of Director of Sales for North America on the reseller and enterprise side of things. So I have my hats on both sides of the border right now.
So how long have you been working in IT, Colleen?
I believe it is almost 18 years. For those counting, I started when I was 11, making me 29.
So in the 18 years that you've been working in this field,
Yes.
What would you say has been one of your biggest accomplishments and why?
I would say my biggest accomplishment was the transition from marketing communications manager and then managing the marketing department straight into the GM role within 8 months. I mean, I had to learn on the job. The gentleman who transferred to the US, you know, was busy with his own transfer. So, you know, I relied very heavily not just on my team, but on the reseller community and the friendliness and the cooperation of our reseller partners to be as successful as I could, you know, in terms of learning, you know, the whole scope of general management very quickly. And I'm pleased that I was able to get up to speed quicker than even I had imagined.
Now, you mentioned the importance of working in a team. Throughout your years, did any sort of male or female role models or mentors kind of coach you to where you are today? And if so, can you explain?
In my career, in the 18 years that I have been in the IT industry, I haven't been in a position, interestingly enough, to be managed by a female, except one brief opportunity at ViewSonic where we did have a VP of sales based out of the US. And for the short time that this sales manager, VP of sales, was with ViewSonic, I learned a great deal, actually. And I learned about the different styles of being managed by a man versus a woman. And I enjoyed it immensely. But I must say that most of my mentoring has been basically from the number of people who have managed me, but I also take from my team. I learn from my team constantly, and I learn from my colleagues, and I learn from people in the industry. So I've had the fortunate experience of, you know, watching and learning from just about everybody around me and taking the best from all of them.
So, Colleen, what would you say has been one of the most important lessons that you've learned while working in this field, and why?
There are a couple of lessons, one of which is integrity. Integrity is very important to any organization, it's very important to me, and I do everything that I can to be true to our partners and to the company and to myself. The other lesson is to have fun, enjoy what you're doing, and I am blessed with loving what I do. I love working with the channel, I love working with my team, I love talking to end users, and you know, bringing to them solutions that make sense. So those would be the two big lessons that I've taken away.
So, Colleen, what would your advice be to those who aspire to obtain a position such as yours?
Well, as I noted earlier, my path to where I am today has progressed. You know, I started in the marketing department. I never imagined actually I would be, you know, the director of sales for North America. I have found that the role actually suits me very, very well, and I really enjoy it, and I love it because it really is a socially interactive kind of role. So anybody looking, I suppose, to, you know, move up the chain or to progress in their career, my primary recommendation is be the best at your current role, and leave a mark, make a difference, and indicate to your manager that you're looking for a change. I think that's the best way to do it. I remember when I started at Epson, I read your publication religiously. I knew very little about the IT industry, and I wanted to know who all the resellers were. I wanted to know what was keeping them up at night, and I got to really understand the marketplace reading the publication. Honest to goodness. And then as I moved into different roles, I really did a lot of reading on my own. I also talked to a lot of people in the industry. I was determined to understand as much as I could about that particular role, and I think it was recognized, and my ability was recognized, and I think that would be the key to gravitating, you know, or moving your career, if you will, whether in a different direction or up the ladder. Just be the best that you can be, and let your manager know when you're ready for change.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here, Colleen. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Maxine. I enjoyed it very much.
And that's all we have time for this interview. Please stay tuned at www.computerdealernews.com for more videos. I'm Maxine Chung from CDN Computer Dealer News, and thanks for watching.